Welcome back to the channel. Trying to get an early start on this Saturday and crank out a bunch of stuff. We've had this truck in here actually a while now. Just been too busy with other stuff to actually start working on it, but just done some stuff with the doors. I'll show you that, but pretty much what we're doing, we're swapping beds, another one that I have, and fixing the doors and trying to take this plow gear off. I guess he tried, I don't know how hard, but it's probably seized in there pretty good. Anyway, move back to the doors. Had the hood off because I'm actually changing the hood too, with another one that I have over there. The other one they had a bug visor on it, and I think it was just pretty dirty under that visor. So moving on back, show you this door. I think this door is mostly done, and just needs to be ground down a little bit, sanded, throw a little paint on there. But under that Bondo, we did fiberglass. I think just fiberglass is a lot quicker, a lot easier to work with than trying to put some sort of backing for the Bondo. And the Bondo's really there just to get rid of the fiberglass like webbing, so we don't have to sand the fiberglass. It's all that's really there for. Now this door is pretty bad, and the reason why we're fixing it is because, for us at least, it's way probably quicker and easier just to throw a lot of glass in there and then Bondo it like the other side. And as you can see here, there's a big hole. I mean, you can see the light spots, or that was just a giant rust hole. And the glass will fix that up, give a nice edge again when it's done, and then when the glass is done, we'll bond over that. And there was also a giant hole here. I mean, there was nothing here. The problem is where we are, I couldn't find preferably a black power door. I had a door that was somewhat okay, but it really wasn't worth the hassle of trying to take apart because you still have to fix it pretty much like the other side. So we ended up just doing that for now. Now I have to get this bed off, but the problem was he loaded it with stuff. I emptied most of it. There was a tarp, there's that like car cover, tonneau cover, bottles, random shovel, shit like that. But that's kind of annoying. I feel like if you knew it was coming here literally to change beds out, you'd probably clean out the bed, but I guess not. So doing that, I think that's the plow pump. So I don't understand why, because he said he wants to try to take the plow off so you can put it back on to use, but the pump's back there, so I don't know. I don't really know what the deal is with that, but anyway, these bolts definitely seen better days. Underneath they just spin, and a little bit, yeah, there it is, spins all the way around. These are supposed to be square, I believe. I don't really know, they're just kind of carriage bolts, but I haven't really dealt with much 90s stuff, but I like Super D set up pretty good. It's just a bolt with a Torx bit on top, and then threads into like a nut with a, I don't know, a cage on it, I guess, and the frame. I like that a lot more than this. So we're gonna have to figure out a way. Probably gonna try vice gripping this, and someone hold it while someone tries to unscrew it from below. Just see if we can get it before we just cut them. Otherwise, anyone that doesn't want to come out, we're just going to end up cutting. So, it is what it is at this point. So I just got to finish cleaning it out, and we'll see what happens from there. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. So, back on this OBS Ford. A lot of things have happened. I've just been so busy. I don't know, I'm just trying to get stuff done. Even though I know I should be filming more, but here we are. We got the hood on, and this thing's so sun faded that it kind of looks like, I mean, on camera that's like a perfect match, and this is just whatever, when you get panels, that's just like the black primer, but they're pretty close, so that's kind of cool. These doors are pretty much done. That isn't a hole, it's just that's what was there, but on camera it kind of looks like a hole. But now to back here. The back is a different story. I mean, really not in good shape at all. Pretty much all I had to do was take off the bed, fluid film it, put on a new bed, but then he showed up one day and said, hey, I have these, can you put them on? Sure, everything's off, easy enough right here. So I'm throwing those on real quick, but as you can see, there's a little black spot. That's where this is gonna sit, this little, I don't know what you want to call it, spring mount, but for the swivels. And I pretty much just cleaned up the underside and painted it, just to prevent the frame from rusting out this the mount here prematurely. I did the same thing on this side. I do need to get I'm gonna get like a crow's foot and like a wobble socket, I think. I don't know. I gotta figure out how to get on the back side, because these do not let you thread them all the way down. You pretty much get to this point on all of them and they stop, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the way it is, but they all thread perfectly fine right to the same point, and they give up and do that. So I can't even get them most of the way down and then hope the nut just bites. And anyway, that didn't work. So I got to figure out how to tighten it down without dropping the tank, because I know if I drop this tank, things are going to get pretty ugly. As you can see, this rear cross member is about to leave. I mean, literally, I don't know. I mean, this little piece is all that's holding it, I think, and this little guy to the actual frame rail. This side isn't a much better. I mean, at all, really. This ground is doing absolutely nothing. It used to be doing something, but not anymore. And I know it's hooked to metal. That metal's got to hit other metal, and that's just floating to the air. So, not grounding properly. So that's not very cool. But I don't know. This truck's a whole clusterfuck. I don't know who put the LEDs in. These are a pain in the ass. And then I'd say either one of these pins got corroded or it just broke. I don't know. So then this was like hardwired in through to the other side. I don't know. This whole thing is weird. The frame is in actually, I think, okay shape otherwise. I mean, there's some spots you still got paint on there. And I mean, it's really crusty. Don't get me wrong. It is crusty. But I think it's solid besides that rear cross member. The shocks are absolutely pooched. Every little piece of pretty much metal on the frame is junk. Fuel lines are either just mint or someone replaced them at some point, because those look really good. And brake lines definitely look better than I thought they would. This one's going to be a fucking issue, though. This one's just been sitting on top of that spring mount. I don't know. This whole thing, not good. You can see the old one, though, so those are definitely changed. That's the old one. I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth the money, but hey, whatever. He's already got this much money into it, and he's already this far, so might as well get on the road. And even after I do what I'm doing here, and which pretty much what I'm doing, the rest, just putting these mounts, fluid filming the whole thing, trying to save what's left of the frame, and then I'm putting a different back body on it, one that I have out on one of those trucks out there. And his back body isn't horrible. I think mine is a little better, but I don't know if that was necessarily worth changing, considering the rest of the truck. And the transmission is blown. I mean, leaks tons of fluid, doesn't move, it moves, doesn't really shift. You get first gear in drive, first gear in one, and then that's all you get. It won't shift to second, but you can put it in second on the column and it'll go in second. So you got first and second in reverse, but that's all you get. So not very cool. But he does have the Alcoa, so that's pretty sweet. So I don't know. This truck's kind of interesting. If it was mine, it would be different, because, you know, I rip these things apart pretty much just for fun at this point. But I don't know if it's worth getting on the road when you have to put a tranny in it and doing all this stuff. I mean, my bill isn't going to be super cheap, and it's going to go up a little more now that he wants these. So, and I already tried to keep it cheap for him. So, I mean, got to be at least twice as cheap as any other shop would have charged him for what I'm doing, especially where I had to cut all the bolts. I mean, none of these came out. It was a super pain in the ass. I'm still going to make out okay, but way cheaper than other shops, and I don't know. Doesn't seem I don't know. Other people have different money than me too, so hard telling really. But I'm just gonna throw some anti-seize on these bolts like I did on this side and put those together and hopefully figure it out so I can get it all together tomorrow or maybe Friday. I don't know. But either way, this week this thing's gonna be done so it can get out of here and I can move on with my life. And we got some fun stainless fuel line over there for a Chevy, and they forgot one of the lines in the kit, so I got to bring that back to Napa. Gonna get some crow's foot or sockets and whatever. Try to do this. They'll drop in the tank, but anyway, we'll be back. So did a few things to the truck today. Put the back body I had on it. Still not convinced it's better. This one's got a lot of dents, a lot of scuffs, paint's coming off, and the bed it's okay. It's all solid, just has a lot of spots that are a little iffy. This bed, the actual deck is pretty okay. It's just the wheel arch starting to rust out. So I guess in terms of that, they're not big rust holes, but I think overall this one's got a lot more imperfections. But it's what he wanted. I gave him a pretty good deal on it relatively to what OBS beds go for these days. Then we also fluid filmed it and did the pretty much whole truck. I didn't touch the front. The front's pretty much fine where it is. I mostly told him I want to do it just to get the back somewhat clean, hopefully again. And I worked my way up a little bit, about to the transmission. And a lot of the reason why I couldn't go all the way up is because we were also painting this today. I didn't want to go through the process of degreasing and all that. This thing is not like a show-ready truck. He just wants to drive it, and that's what I'm giving him, hopefully. But here we are. Update you there. We got to throw a bed liner in there, a tailgate that it came with it, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But also, I did the Super Duty bed bolts where it has a clip. All seen them. These are just a Dorman. Just a clip style, and then you have the bolt with an actual head on it, so you can take them off without having to really hate your life too much. So anyway, here we go. So we're getting ready to wrap up this OBS Ford, and it's got some interesting wiring issues. So when it came in, the transmission did not shift, and I never noticed it because I was always inside pressing the brake pedal. But when just the other day, press the brake pedal to make sure the back worked, and third brake light did not work. And for all of you that know, when your third brake light out, your transmission doesn't shift. Something's up with the wiring and the way they run things. For some reason, when you lose your circuit to the third brake light, transmission does not act correctly. And I'm hoping that's the case with this one, and that it's going to shift fine going down the road from now on. But one can only hope. But here we are. I put both gas caps back in, and underneath there's a like a worm clamp that goes on the hose to a little bracket. That basically keeps your hose, keeps all the strain off those 3 small bolts to keep your hose there over time. But I'm pretty much done with it. The only thing we got to do now is put a slip-in bed liner that I have for it in, mount his toolbox, and then throw all the random junk that came with it back in it. And because that's not my problem. I'm not the garbage man. So, and just a bunch of random stuff pretty much that was in here. Not mine. So it's going back in. The one thing that I didn't touch that is still not really working, and it wasn't on the list of things to fix, so it's kind of, I'm leaving it as it is these headlights don't really work. And sometimes somebody tried to run LEDs and everything, and super sketchy. Just doesn't work. Taillights don't work, or the taillights work, but the reverse lights don't. And I still can't find out. I tried 2 different harnesses. Somewhere it's cut or just not getting power in the lines. And if it was on the list of things to fix, I'd be tracking it down, trying to figure it out. But it's not. I was just, if it was right there, or if it was a bulb or the circuit or just the end one, then I would have changed it just because it's right there. But I don't have the time, and it'd be different if that's what he wanted me to do, then I'd do it, obviously, but it wasn't on the list of things to repair, so I'm leaving it as is unless it was super simple, but it's a little more involved. And kind of same thing with the front. I didn't touch any of this stuff. It was all kind of pre-molested before me, and kind of weird. You got these that go nowhere, I think on both sides. Behind the seats where the rest of them are run, and then they're back here, but there's nothing that hooks up to any of the batteries. So I don't really know any of that worked, but whatever. The only thing I did under the hood, I put this air filter in here because his was not in good shape. I don't really remember. I don't think it was there. I think it was in the bed and it was junk. So I put in a different one that I had, and that takes care of under the hood. Now, the only thing he wanted me to try to do was take off this plow gear. There's no bolts in it to hold it. It's literally just so rusted, or just, yeah, pretty much rusted in place, or it doesn't want to come out. So we're going to go for a ride, see the transmission shifts, come back in, and we're going to see if the old forklift can give it a little nudge and pull it out. But I just got to move this toolbox and a couple things out of the way. We'll get this truck outside. Well, I forgot to make a finishing video of that OBS Ford, but it is out of here. Transmission did not shift any better. I don't know. It was super over full on fluid, and I don't know if it was just burned up from plowing. I really don't know. So, anyway, this is the next truck that's going to be in here, and we got to do some outer door panels that he brought with him. So, we're going to throw those on and see what we can do with it. But thanks for watching. Tune into next little series of this little gangster S10 dealio. I guess technically it's a 1500 now, but anyway. See you next video.